What goes through your mind when you are getting in the lift for defying gravity? What do you see when you are up the 15, 18 feet? Joe Bergen. Oh, are you related? To the question before. What was the question again? Oh, no, you can't keep it there. What goes through my mind when you're getting in the lift? Okay, what goes through my mind? When I first started, what goes through my mind is actually getting into the lift and making sure that I push back and the mechanism clicks and then it begins. Because when I first started, I really wasn't ready for it to be so dark back there, and not just dark, full of smoke. So it was really very intimidating. But now what goes through my mind is just, keeping in the moment with Glinda during my friend, and then going, okay, Mandy, get into that mechanism and make sure you get your cape over and make sure you push the book back and make sure that you drape the stuff over and then get back into the moment. So it is. It's a very big technical moment because everything is riding on you. The stage manager's waiting to call the cue. The stagehands are waiting to make sure that you get in. So that's what's going through my mind. And I don't see a lot when I'm actually up in the when I'm flying because it's so dark. So I'm just so in the moment, and I feel like I'm just flying over everybody, which I am. And then I have a moment where I look at Glinda, and she's just giving me so much love, and it's amazing. It's really amazing. So I just try to take it in. Do you have any advice for actors? Christina Lauren. A lot of Laurens. Gosh, I have, I guess, a lot of advice for actors getting into the business. I know that everybody... one of my favorite quotes my mom read in a book. I forgot what book it was, but it was Traveler, there is no trail. You blaze the trail as you go. And I really, I keep that up in my dressing room. I keep it in my head every day that not to try to compare yourself so much to other people, to find the uniqueness within you, what you can bring to something, like, especially with replacing in a role, there's a lot of people sometimes that come before you, and you really have to say, okay, some people ask, well, what makes you different? Well, because you are different, and you're different than other people, so you have to find those things inside of you that make you different. I think it's important to study, to read all different kinds of things, to experience life to the fullest, but I really think it's that you really have to find what's in you that's unique and different that you can bring to the table, and work hard. What is your biggest blooper wherein you had to make your biggest ad-lib? Fan R.C. Dionisio. Very nice. What is my biggest blooper? Oh my gosh. Well, there haven't been many. No, just kidding. There have been quite a few. I mean, like I say, 8 shows a week is pretty intense. With In the Heights, I think I did around 800 performances, or... yeah, it's a lot. So I think one of my biggest bloopers was during In the Heights when I had to walk across the stage, and it was right before I was going to see Chris Jackson, who played Benny, and it was a moment of reflection and just, like I'm really down on myself. I bumped into one of the other actors on stage, and I fell into the stoop of Abuela's stoop, and I wasn't very subtle about it. I screamed. So I just went, ah! And then I was just like, oh. And then Benny's like, what's up? And I'm like, oh, hi, So I tried to, just get back into the scene, but my leg hurt and was not broken, but my leg really hurt, and I had this huge bruise, and I was like, oh my God, am I bleeding? Like all through the scene, but, it all worked out. Oh, do you have any plans to record a solo album? Teresa Pasco. Yes, I would love to record a solo album. Right now I'm just kind of skimming through material and really thinking about what I want to do, but that's something I would love to do. I love to sing, so I would like to find some new material and as well incorporate old material and put something together for sure. What is your favorite song duet to sing in Wicked? Oh, I would say that my favorite, well, Oh, gosh, I love to sing everything in Wicked, I have to say. It's hard to pick a favorite because every song is so different, and it's really a singer's delight because you get to use so many different parts of your voice that you've trained to do your whole life, or, you know, however long you've been training. For me, my whole life. And so I think that, well, one of my favorite songs to sing, my favorite duets, is For Good at the end, that I sing with Katie Rose Clark. And I love it because of the message of the song, and we've both been through, our characters have been through so much throughout the show, and this is like the final song to one another, and just their expression of friendship and love for one another. So I just love it. Can you tell us a little more about Jekyll and Hyde tour with Rob Evan and Julie River? Funny stories or interesting events. Amanda Marshak. Hi, Amanda. How are you? Yeah, sure. Let's see. When I did Jekyll and Hyde, we went to Korea. So there were a lot of fun stories about that. We stayed in Seoul, Korea for about, I think we were there for 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, we had so many funny stories because I don't know if you've ever been, but when you go somewhere across the world, it's an amazing experience because you don't speak the language. You don't look like anybody else. So when you kind of, when you get out and you start walking around, it's kind of like that movie Lost in Translation, where you're just kind of, you feel like you're in this bubble, but you're in this different place in the world. And it was incredible. But then you start to, once you're there for a couple days, you're like, oh, this is great, and people are so different but so much the same. And you know, but gosh, we had such a great time. It was so cool. The thing about Korea that I didn't realize is that the audience expects an encore. So, you know, when you do a show out here in the U.S. or anything, you do the show and then that's it. But in Korea, I remember we went and saw Aida, and I actually did Aida on Broadway, and we went and saw it, and I think Korea bought all the costumes and the sets from the U.S. production. So it was pretty much all the same costumes and sets and things like that. And at the end of Aida, you know, it's very tragic. And, you know, at the end, during the ballads, they come out with a remix of all of Aida. So it's like, Aida, Aida, and everybody's really, really happy. So when we finished Jekyll and Hyde, you know, we were like, we're not going to have to do an encore, no way. And then all of a sudden we hear just like, ching, 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 like just this chanting of, yeah, yeah. So we were like, oh my gosh, we don't have anything to do. So Rob Evan went out, and we all went out, and he sang an encore of This Is the Moment, but like a very rock style of This Is the Moment. And I remember Julie and I did like backups, and there's no backups in This Is the Moment, and we just did like the wave and like all that kind of stuff, and people went crazy. And then every night we just did another song, and it would just be random, like a Beatles song, a Queen song. Like we just did all this thing, and people were just thought we were amazing. So it was pretty great. Oh, what was it like working on Lennon? Katrine Grisbeck, I think. Oh, thanks, Katrine. Did you see it? It's so great. Let's see. What was it like working on Lennon? Lennon was fantastic. It was also very, very heartbreaking in some ways. You know, it's so great to start a new musical, but a new musical is so difficult. Nobody really really understands actually what goes into it and how much heart and soul people put into it. But when we started, we all went to San Francisco, and we got to be in San Francisco for like a month, and it was awesome because we really got to bond as a cast. And, you know, I had known the music of the Beatles, and I'd known John Lennon. My mom was a huge Beatles fan, and her favorite Beatle was John Lennon. She used to play John Lennon when she was a kid, like in her backyard with her sisters. And then my sister was really into John Lennon, the solo artist. So I knew of his work, but I didn't really, really know of his work. And Don Scardino, who directed and wrote Lennon, really introduced us to some great material. John Lennon was an incredible man and composer, and it was just so wonderful to be a part of that for the short time that we were allowed to be a part of it. So it was fantastic. I mean, the music was incredible. The arrangements were incredible. It's a shame it wasn't recorded, but you know, that's how it goes. But it was a blast. It was a real blast. How often do you venture out green between shows? And more importantly, do New Yorkers notice? I never go out between shows in green. I think that my dresser Kathy told me that, hi Kathy, she told me that one time they had to send somebody out in a cab green because I think they were late for a flight or something like that, and so they were trying to get their green off in the thing. But it's so in your skin, you just kind of want to get it out as soon as possible because you know, you got to prevent breakouts for things like this. You know, you want to look your best, so you know, you try not to keep it on as long as possible, but often it does stay in your skin without you noticing. You kind of get a little halo around your hairline. Hopefully you don't see it today because I've been trying to use different products that take it out, but I've been doing my best. But you see it like in the back of the hair, and can you see? And things like that. I don't know if it's still there. I do my best, people, but sometimes it just doesn't come out. So New Yorkers have seen a little of the green without my knowing, but sometimes they'll kind of stare at you like, oh, what's that girl? Like, maybe, who knows what they think? I don't know. But I try to do my best to get it off. If you were to play another character in Wicked, which would it be? Flaninia? Flaninia. Thank you, Flaninia. Which character would I play? Oh my gosh. I love being Elphaba, so I wouldn't want to play anything else. I guess, I don't know. You know, I'm with Glinda a lot, so her character is kind of fun and different vocally, and I would love to do something like that. Yeah, so I'd say Glinda. Did you read the book Wicked? If so, what parts do you wish would have been included in the staged version? I did read Wicked. It's a fantastic book. You know, I think that they did such a great job of making Wicked the musical what it needed to be, because the book is fantastic. It's a lot darker than the play, than the musical itself. But I think that they took really the theme of the book and they put it on stage, this feeling of an outcast, and really what her story, what the Wicked Witch's story was, and the story of Oz before Wicked, or before the Wizard of Oz happened. So I think that they did a fantastic job. I think Winnie Holtzman and Joe Mantello and all the creative team did a great job of helming this fantastic musical, which is obviously worked because it's been around for so long and people still love it so much. And you know, sometimes I go out the stage door and people are like, oh my gosh, I've waited so long to see this show and I can't believe how great it is, and I've seen it, you know, 50 times and this and that. So I think that they did a great job because it really speaks to so many people. Do you identify with Elphaba at all? Any similar characteristics, traits? Yeah, I think that so many people identify with Elphaba. A feeling of an outcast and feeling like you don't belong, and you know, people judging you for what you look like and not for what's on the inside. I think that I identify a lot with Elphaba, and I hope you see that in my performance. But yeah, I think that she has a lot of traits where she fights for things that she believes in, even though they may not be popular. I think that we all strive to do that.